name is Bobby and welcome once again to a web special exclusive for Siglap Bobby TV. Now today I have here an older MacBook Pro. Some of you might have something like this. It's a bit heavier. It has a DVD drive on the side, it's a nice trackpad, and a bunch of ports on the left side. Now these are from models 2009 to 2012. They are slightly older MacBook Pros, however they still function very well today if you maintain them well. Now the newer ones have a faster processor, a retina display, RAM, and they run on SSDs. However, if you're not too keen about a faster processor, or you think that yours runs perfectly fine now, and you're not really that much of a fan of a retina display, you'll be happy to know that we can actually upgrade the RAM and the SSD, or rather the hard disk, to an SSD of these older machines and make them run as fast as modern Macs 2015, 2016, even the 2017 MacBook Pros. And you still retain most of your ports. But following this, I just want to show a demonstration of a MacBook Pro stock model running a regular hard disk versus a MacBook Pro, the same MacBook Pro running an SSD with no upgrade of RAM, so it's still stock 4GB of RAM. And just to let you see the difference between a hard disk and an SSD, and hopefully that will convince you that an SSD upgrade is really the way to go. Just before I start, I just want to note that for this demo, we'll be using a MacBook Pro 2010 13-inch that's running on macOS High Sierra. That's the latest operating system. Now the specs, 2.4 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo processor. It's a rather old processor, before the i3, i5 series. It's running on 4 gigs of memory, and it's a GeForce 320M graphics running on 256 megabytes of graphics memory. Now these are rather old specs if you look at it today. So really, at the end of the day, the performance bump that you see between the two machines would be largely due to the SSD upgrade, and that's the main message that I want to drive home today. So in this test, we're using the same MacBook Pro with the drives connected separately and recorded twice. You can see there's an Ethernet cable connected to the MacBook Pro to ensure the fastest possible internet, as well as a USB mouse so that my hands don't get into the way that much. If you see a red FFW sign later on, that means that we are fast forwarding the footage for your convenience so that you don't wait too long. So we can see that the SSD is just about to complete the boot up and has finished at 32 seconds, whereas the hard disk is still going and sludging on. Running OS Sierra always takes a toll on the hard disk. And finally, when it ends, we see that the SSD has performed 170% faster than the hard drive during a regular boot up. In this test, we launched the first 10 applications on the dock and measure how long they take to load finish completely. It's completed when the icons stop bouncing. Now the SSD has finished at 16 seconds and is 142% faster than the hard drive that took 39 seconds to load 10 apps. Now in this more complex test aimed at designers, we got Photoshop to open a sequence of a 200 megabyte Photoshop file, followed by compressing them all into a smart object, and then applying a Gaussian blur, and then saving it back to the desktop as an Adobe PDF file. The SSD completed at 1 minute and 50 seconds, which was 49% faster than the hard drive in the same operation. And no surprisingly, the SSD loaded the Apple website almost 500% faster than the regular hard drive. For all you movie buffs, even the YouTube performance is 160% faster. And finally, after running all those tests, we initiated a shutdown. You only know when the machine is fully completed shutdown when the backlight of the keyboard goes off. And in the SSD, it completed at 14 seconds. About 240% faster than a regular hard drive. Now that you have seen a side-by-side demonstration of the stock model MacBook Pro, as well as one that has been upgraded to an SSD, you can decide for yourself the performance benefits. And if you have an old MacBook Pro that you would like to upgrade to an SSD or put in more RAM, you can always come look for us and we'll advise you appropriately, and we will help you with the upgrade. Now, that being said, Siglap Bobby can also help you with Macs that are newer, the Retina displays, as well as MacBook Airs and even the latest MacBook Pro. With regards to accessories, fixes, touchpad fixes, Wi-Fi fixes, and even SSDs, though a bit pricey, but SSDs for all models on MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs can also be upgraded. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like the video or hit here to subscribe. And if you have any comments, you can leave them in the comment section or questions, and I'll be very, very glad to answer them. Thank you.